For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very, very much. Your support is greatly appreciated. If anybody's interested in supporting me over there at patreon.com, you can go over and do a monthly subscription. You get to vote on polls. There's special readings available over there. You get a day forecast a day early, all of that stuff. But now, this is the monthly Tarotscope for the sign of Aries for November of 2020. So, those of you with a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Aries, I have an Aries rising, you guys would want to watch this video. For those of you that are in love or in support or close to an Aries sun, moon, or rising, feel free to watch this video and cross-watch for them. Share this video with any Aries people that you may want to share it with. If they can get something out of it, I would greatly appreciate it. If you're enjoying the video, please remember at the end to hit the thumbs up marker underneath the video screen because that greatly helps the channel too. You can leave any questions or comments if you feel so inclined, and please hit subscribe if you also enjoy the work. And this is a broad spectrum reading for a bunch of different Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, so kind of take what you need and leave the rest. It is a broad overview of what to expect in the month of November with that Aries energy. So if it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Don't worry. Like, doesn't mean that anything's wrong or bad. It's just you might be working on something different at this time. All right, so let's get into this. I am using the first card this month from the Messages from the Guides by James Van Praagh. So I decided to do a different sort of spiritually oriented oracle deck as the guidance card for the month. So I don't know why, but that's what we're doing. So we're going to hear from the other side. What does the other side want us to know for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising? What do our guides want the Aries to know for the month of November 2020? This is something to stay focused on, to pay attention to, or to ground in throughout the month. It could signify a theme for us for the month. So let's see. This says, ooh, this is a very Aries statement, actually. Worry is a wasted emotion. I like this. What I am going to say about this, Aries, you guys are fire, right? You're a fire sign. And so I do like the coolness and this night sky of this. There's a peacefulness to this. This is kind of the antithesis of sort of that fiery, take action Aries energy, that childlike energy of like, no, let's do it now, let's get it done. This is a more sort of tempered, cooler, slower, balanced energy is how I feel from this card, right? We might want to be a little bit more methodical, sort of, you know, maybe think first, then take action, kind of is sort of the idea that I'm getting from this, partly because the blue of the sky is taking me to the element of air and the intellect, right? So we want to think first before jumping in, and worry is a wasted emotion. Like, really be conscious of sort of where you're at emotionally and where you're placing your attention this month. Because if there is stuff that you are worried about, or you're giving, you know, focus to things that are giving you grief this month, you could just be sort of setting yourself up for, you know, a whole bunch of meh, you know, and we don't want that, okay? Because that's never fun for an Aries. All right, so let me shuffle the tarot cards. See, what does Aries need to know for, what is that? Interesting. It's King of Pentacles? Oh, King of Swords. Interesting. The King of Swords just flew out of the deck, guys. I'm going to put it back in the deck, but that also speaks to that air energy that I was just talking about thinking first and acting second, right? Being aware of our thoughts, that worry, anxiety, fears, those sort of things are wasted. Don't let them sort of guide you this month. So what do my Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising need to know for November of 2020? All right, this first card is your center. It tells me sort of where you're centered at. It gives me a little insight into kind of how you're going to be operating for most of the month. Not necessarily the entirety of the month, but, you know, the majority of the month. And it also gives me insight into what you could potentially be creating for the future. So let's see what's going on. Ooh, get it! This is straight up Aries energy. This is the Emperor. This is your guys' card, bitch. Oh my god. Okay. This happened with Scorpio, actually. Scorpio got the death card in, was it in their center? I think it was. Yeah. So Scorpio and Aries are going to have sort of, I get a feeling, a very impactful November. So Emperor is this. It is associated with the sign of Aries, which I love that. You couldn't hit on a better target for you guys as your center. The Emperor is always sort of well balanced and benevolent, but also has very high standards, right? We have to deliver to the Emperor, right? We might find ourselves having very high standards this month, or very high expectations of certain situations, of ourselves, all of that sort of stuff. But again, remember, this worry thing is a wasted emotion. The Emperor does not worry. And so the reason why I feel like we have this worry as a wasted emotion coupled with this Emperor is like we have the potential to so be in our power throughout the month of November. We want to be cautious, or not cautious, but we want to be aware of when we're like kind of slipping out of it through things like worry, fatigue, fear, that sort of thing. We're wasting this beautiful Aries energy that we have access to all month as our center, right? The Emperor can pull in whatever he wants. Because of his benevolence and because of it coming from that sort of air of the highest expectation, he can manifest quite a bit. He can make people want to deliver for him, because he's always sort of like this, like, I want to say, how do I want to say this? Like, he's like a kind of a, I don't want to say hard to please, but he's like a father figure that we need to please, right? And we can't cut corners with the Emperor. That's the thing. There's no bullshit with the Emperor, right? So we might have a very low tolerance for bullshit in the month of November, both our own and the bullshit of others. But that's okay. We can still sort of love them, and I feel like we can also still sort of achieve quite a bit with this Emperor sitting in the seat of power, dead in the center. I love that he's sitting there. All right, Aries? So this next card is the foundation card, and this is something from the past that sort of opened the door for everything to be the way that it is in the cards for the month of November. It also can be the memory of this card that kind of holds things together, or is sort of propelling things along in the present. Okay, interesting. This is the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles usually is about kind of holding on to things a little bit too tightly. Pentacles is earth energy. Fours usually are about stability. Sometimes I think of the Four of Pentacles as sometimes we seek stability so much that we hold on too tightly, and it can kind of go either way. Sometimes it does create stability, and sometimes it doesn't, right? It can create worry, fear, mountain out of molehills, that sort of thing. We do see him holding this little scale thing here, and I also love this little mountain that he has here. Like, are we making, in the past, have we come from sort of maybe beliefs that we didn't have enough, or in fear that we didn't have enough? We sought that balance. We worked really hard to get ourselves to this point of where we now feel empowered in this Emperor space. That's why we don't necessarily want to go back to this idea of worry, fear, that kind of thing. That's where we're wasting those emotions, when we can actually utilize those emotions to channel something far more powerful, far more creative, far more deserving through that Emperor energy, right? The Four of Pentacles, even though it is that kind of, it does have a nice, it being in the foundation position and it being a Pentacles energy, that earthy Four to me feels very, like it could be a really good foundation, but we don't want to slip into the reminders of the past where we maybe didn't have enough, or we might have held on too tightly, or slipped into fear. The Emperor has no fear, right? He knows what he needs, he knows how he needs it, and he expects it to be delivered in such a way. And there's no question about that, right? So that's the air and the attitude that I feel like Aries wants to hold on to through the month of November, and where you want to project from, where you want to emanate and emote from is that, versus this idea of worry, fear, or anything less than what the Emperor would expect. Does that make sense? The Four of Pentacles doesn't have to mean that we're going to be worried or in fear. It just has that sort of connotation of holding on too tightly. So don't allow times where things might have been more meager to dictate what you're experiencing now, Aries. Does that make sense? Because the Emperor is so perfectly on point for who you are and where you're at and what you deserve, that you really need to live that and love that and breathe that to create from that space. And I believe that powerful things can happen in November. All right, so let's look at the spirit or soul card. This is above you. This is kind of what your spirit or soul wants you to work on, what it wants you to focus on or look at while you're going through November. I love it. So this is the strength card. Okay, he is straight up slaying dragons, showing people who they are with that mirror on his shield. Strength is associated with the sign of Leo, right? It's the fire sign. It's about taking action, which is also very much at home with my Aries, because you guys are also fellow fire signs too. Strength to me, and you have the Emperor in your center, it's like you guys are working all fires, all cylinders firing, right? Is sort of how I feel here. The strength is that spiritual strength that's coming through that will hopefully prop you up or keep you seated in the seat of the Emperor. Does that make sense? Where we want to call upon our higher selves, our higher knowledge, trusting that, taking that strength and utilizing that to sort of push us forward or keep ourselves like, I guess strong would be a good word since it's strength, but you know what I mean? Keeping ourselves sort of buoyant and in that sense of belief that what we deserve and what we can create, we can actually obtain this month, right? We have the strength, the power, the wherewithal, all of that stuff to get ourselves there, and we have to believe it. And if we don't, if we slip into this idea of worry, then we just kind of waste these beautiful energies that are kind of working in our favor. The strength of our spirit, the power of the creativity, the fiery nature of Aries is definitely at play here with this Emperor and this strength card in the spirit space, right? So taking that fire and utilizing it, but utilizing it in a, like say, maybe a more practical or grounded way, that would be the Four of Pentacles down below. Not in a fear-based way, not holding on too tightly, but monitoring it, stabilizing it, channeling it, in a right, and that's also the Emperor too. The Emperor is very balanced and it's like kind of, how do I want to say, like not necessarily impulsive, right? Where Aries can be a little bit impulsive. You guys being the first sign of the zodiac, you guys may want to jump before you, and that's what I was saying too with this blue sky is think before you act kind of thing, right? Or be aware of how you're thinking when you're acting, because if you're thinking from a place of lack or worry or fear, distrust, you're going to probably perpetuate that. Does that make sense? Especially with this Emperor and this Strength card working for you. But I think you have all the power in the world to not do that if you choose not to. All right, the next two cards are the outside influences. So these are energies, sometimes people or events, sometimes belief systems that we inherit through teachings that don't belong to us necessarily. They're around us, affecting us during the month. They can be either positive or negative, and we just need to be aware of them. Okay, so what is the Justice card? Again, do you see that giant sword she's holding there? All about sort of clear thinking, intellect, that sort of energy, which I saw here in this air element, and the King of Swords came out and he popped out. There's something about thinking before we act, Aries. And there's something about this intelligence of the Emperor. Even though he is the sign of Aries, he does everything in such a way that it's so skilled and so on point that you guys really have an opportunity for, I'm hearing like, in the video game, what video game is it where you knock somebody out and it goes flawless? It reminds me of that. Like you have the opportunity to do things very flawlessly this month. Justice is major arcana. She packs a big sort of punch, right? With her, this is about sort of wrongs being righted. Again, we see a similar scales situation. She's holding the scales. I believe she might be associated with Libra. I'm not sure, but we have the scales down here also. So there's something matching up. We're calling in, maybe through past experience, maybe places where we were wronged or we didn't have enough. This Emperor is expecting sort of, do I want to say payback? And if there is some of you out there that are expecting like a situation that maybe where you felt as though you were wronged, you are seeking to be righted, this might be the month where that happens, Aries. This could be very specific to only a few of you, but this Justice card usually represents the truth coming forward, sometimes legal matters being cleared up, just basically the fair treatment of everybody involved in a situation that maybe wasn't so fair to begin with, right? And so Justice, she brings that in. She brings in that balance, that in a very powerful and profound way. And I think the reason why she comes in on this is because the Emperor is sitting at the center. Aries is looking for that. We're requesting that. We've put in the order. It's coming. The Strength card is coming from our spirit. Whatever we've been struggling with leading up till now, we have the strength and the wherewithal to deal with it, and justice will provide for us this month. The truth will come out, more will be revealed, we will get maybe potentially released from certain situations that no longer serve us. That's kind of the energy of justice, right? She will come in and sort of swing her sword and clear up any discrepancies, things that aren't serving us, that sort of a thing in a very big way, okay? So let's look at the other outside influence. Awesome. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. This guy, to me, I have to say, I feel like he would be the antithesis of who Aries would want to deal with. Only because the Knight of Pentacles is such slow energy, and Aries, to me, is more about taking action and moving quickly. Aries being the element of fire and the element of the spirit, it moves at a much faster rate. The Knight of Pentacles being earth, he's much more, in a knight, he's much more slow, methodical, plodding, that sort of a thing, okay? Let me just look at this. The Knight of Pentacles can sometimes represent an older male of the earth sign origin, right? Like Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Doesn't necessarily have to, and knights always usually are about servitude, sometimes bringing messages, protection, that sort of a thing. When I look at this knight, let me just see. I'm going to say this. I feel like Justice and the Knight of Pentacles are here to help you on both sides of you. I feel like the Knight of Pentacles might move a little bit slower. He might, but I feel like with that slow-moving nature, and this may be a person or this could be just a situation, you've got to kind of broaden your perspective here, Aries, or like open up your mind to the potential of what the Knight of Pentacles can represent. And he could tie into this justice for some of you, is almost the feeling that I'm getting. Like if there is some sort of legal battle or if there is some sort of struggle that's been going on for my Aries for a while, I get a feeling that we will be free of it. It might be more towards month's end, but we have to be patient. We have to sort of plod along with this Knight of Pentacles. He will deliver if we give him time to do so. Does that make sense? Pentacles is also like material wealth and good blessings in that regard. So, but he is one of the slowest energies of the deck. So that, like, I feel like, I want to say this, I feel like he will deliver what the Emperor requests, but the Emperor also needs to be patient with him and allow him to go through his process. Does that make sense? So when my Aries find themselves getting a little frazzled or wanting something to come together and it's not quite coming together in the time that they seek or that they're expecting, don't slip into that worry. Don't slip into this Four of Pentacles of wanting to hold on or keep your side of things or whatever. Channel this higher self strength, channel this air of the Emperor, channel this understanding that justice is coming and what will be right, that in due time and in due process, the gifts or the material things that we want, the answers that we need, they are coming, Aries, okay? So worry is a wasted emotion. It's not worth it. Don't blow the beauty of these two fire card, major arcana cards, really working for you in your favor this month, okay? The next card is the potential outcomes card. This tells me a bit about sort of where things will end up potentially for all of the Aries in the month of November, barring that nothing major changes. So if this card is something negative, we can use choices and make changes to affect the outcome through free will. If this card is positive, we can utilize this, just take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards this outcome as the month goes on. So let's see. So this is the Five of Pentacles. Not necessarily the best card. Let me see here. Why do I feel like... Five of Pentacles can kind of represent sort of challenges, financial challenges, you know, she's struggling there in that windstorm. Fives, to me, the energy of five is about choice and change, right? Like sort of making that, like taking on that change and shifting things, right? When I look at this Four of Pentacles, it's the foundation. There might have been periods of time where we were holding on to things out of sheer need or fear or lack, that kind of a thing. We need to let go of that. That's the Emperor energy and the strength up in our higher self, right? These things are really beautiful, powerful cards that tell us that we have what we need. We can provide for ourselves. We can take care of ourselves, right? This worry being a wasted emotion to me speaks to this idea of don't let sort of maybe other people's experiences, what they, their opinions of you or how you should handle things really affect that, where you're at. Now, with this Five of Pentacles, as the outcome, it says to me that some of you, Aries, may have a hard time not actually slipping into this worry, even though we see such beautiful strength and power in the Emperor in the center, right? And that might be due, it's weird, but I feel like that might be due to the slow nature of this Knight of Pentacles. I almost feel like I want to say, I want to say, like, I want to jump in, let me do it. Like, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. That's the feeling that I'm getting from, that's not really an Emperor energy, but that's sort of the phrase that I'm hearing in my head as I'm looking at these cards, is it might be like the majority of my Aries might become so impatient throughout the month that you kind of can't wait on the Knight of Pentacles to deliver. And so you maybe panic a little bit, and that's what brings you to this Five of Pentacles, which is a sort of struggle where you're still fighting against things. It's not all over, it's not all done, there's still changes coming, it's good, it's still transitory, right? But there's still not a clear answer, which it's interesting to me because Justice feels like she brings with her a very clear answer if we are patient and trust. And that's the Emperor and the Strength card. This answer may come in December, right? Or this, whatever it is, the clarity that we seek that comes with that Justice card, we might have to give. I feel like the Knight of Pentacles and Justice are working together and they don't necessarily move at the pace that Aries expects or wants. So we're going to like have to wait on the Knight of Pentacles, and the Justice card might be waiting there too for him. Does that make sense? I know that sounds kooky, guys, but that's sort of the vibe that I'm getting from these cards. So the majority of you could end up in this Five of Pentacles space of feeling like you're struggling still, feeling like you're slipping or you're losing grip or that sort of a thing. Doesn't mean you're out of the game. Don't take it in an all bad way, but it does mean that you might find yourself feeling a little bit strapped or still in need of more support. But the interesting thing is you have all of the support that you need up in that Strength card and in that Emperor card. It's all like within you. Don't let sort of the outside environment or the speed with which the outside environment is moving bring you to the place of worry, because then you start to lose the power of the Emperor and the Strength card. Does that make sense? Now, like I said, the Five of Pentacles, not a horrible card, but not the best card that we want to see, not the potential for the outcome that I see that's here, because even the Knight of Pentacles, although he's slow moving, he brings with him gifts, right? He can deliver, he just needs time. And so, and Justice will definitely deliver too, right? In a very big way, in a positive way, usually. I mean, it could be something comes clear about you and something that you've done, Aries. But don't worry about it, right? So, like, what I was going to say, though, is it's not set in stone, that Five of Pentacles, right? If we don't want that Five of Pentacles, if we don't want to feel like we're still struggling or fighting against something or holding on to something out of fear or worry or lack, we don't have to do that. We can stay focused on the idea of this Emperor card as our center, the idea of this Strength card as our higher self, and we can utilize those things and call upon those things and affect that Five of Pentacles outcome, right? So it doesn't necessarily land us there. And as I said, Five of Pentacles is not horrible, it's just, you know, a bit struggle bus, and I don't really want to see that for you guys, because I feel like everything going on up here is really beneficial. Even the Knight of Pentacles, he's slow as shit, but he's good. Like, he'll do his work in due time, in due course. You just have to be patient. All right, so that is your forecast for the month of November. I hope that made sense, Aries. You have to fit like where it fits in your life to what situations, but those are the energies that are going to be at work for my Aries in the month of November. Please give this video a thumbs up, like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you choose to. If you're watching over on Facebook, please go and seek out my YouTube channel and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Share this video out to other Aries. Again, I really think that there's an opportunity here to move ourselves forward in a very big and impactful way, but we might need a month or two to do that, and we have to live in that belief as we go about doing it, right? And trusting that, right? And I think that some of our stuff in the past where we've lacked or not gotten what we wanted, we're allowing that to be our reality when the reality could really actually be so much more. We just don't quite see it yet, or it hasn't quite arrived yet. All right, so that is your forecast, dear, or dears, I should say. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back in a moment to do Leo, and then tomorrow I will be doing, who's after Sag? Is it Capricorn? I think the Earth signs will be tomorrow, I believe. Is it Sag or is it Aquarius? No, Aquarius is before Pisces, so it's gotta be Capricorn. So we'll be doing the Earth signs starting with Capricorn tomorrow. We'll do Capricorn, then Taurus, then Virgo. All right, so thank you for tuning in. And again, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys later. All right, bye-bye.